Hello, and welcome to the 5th edition of the Quarantine Report on July 17th, 2020. I'm Emily Nagel. The world is in an interesting and unprecedented time, and we're here to keep you informed, entertained, and connected. Let's get to it. First, with breaking news. Sandwich shop Jimmy John's has fired multiple employees after a video was released of workers mocking a noose made out of bread dough. The video from the Woodstock, Georgia store was seen on several social media platforms. In a statement to Twitter, Jimmy John's writes, "The actions seen in the video are absolutely unacceptable and do not represent the Jimmy John's brand or the local franchise ownership team. As soon as we were alerted to the video, we notified our franchisee, who quickly investigated and terminated all employees involved." Artist Kanye West has announced his hope and plan to run for the 2020 presidential candidate race, even after weeks of missing deadlines to be on the ballot for several states. West claims that he contracted the coronavirus in February, which he explained was the reason for missing the ballot deadline. As of July 7th, in an interview, West explains he no longer supports President Trump after his handling of the pandemic. On July 5th, a man and daughter were shot in the Bronx, according to NYPD. 29-year-old Anthony Robinson was speaking to his daughter on the street when a vehicle pulled up and shot Robinson. Surveillance shows the young girl running away as Robinson was shot multiple times. Robinson was pronounced dead after being transported to a nearby hospital. No arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing. As cases of the coronavirus rise in Florida, the state has announced that all schools will require a reopening in August with in-person classes. This decision follows parallel to Trump's plan for all schools to reopen in the fall nationwide. Now we'll head over to Joe with our coronavirus by the numbers update. Joe, what are the recent stats in our global pandemic?
While many people continue to try and redefine normalcy after a global pandemic, states across the nation are seeing massive spikes in cases. And one question has been a hot topic. Will students return to school in the fall? I'm Joe Moronsky, and this is Coronavirus by the Numbers. Across the nation, individuals have been returning to work and resuming somewhat normal activities. However, states are seeing a resurgence in cases. As of Sunday, July 12th, there are 3.29 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the United States. Of those cases, approximately 3.15 million have resulted in recovery, and 137,000 have sadly resulted in death. Worldwide, the numbers continue to grow as the total number of confirmed cases stands at 12.6 million as of July 12th. With normalcy being redefined, the question of if students will return in the fall has arisen. While some schools are looking into a hybrid model of online and in-person classes, others have stated their intention to go either fully online or fully in person. At an event on Tuesday, July 7th, President Trump made clear his wish for schools to resume in-person education, stating that he intends to pressure governors into opening. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos echoed this sentiment, saying that anything less than a total reopening would be failing our kids. I'm Joe Moronsky, and that's Coronavirus by the Numbers.
Thanks, Joe, for keeping us up to date during this pandemic. Let's now head over to Elizabeth with Life in Quarantine. What's the quarantine tip of the week, Elizabeth?
Thanks, Emily. Elizabeth Beto here, filling in this week for another segment of Life in Quarantine. And lucky you, because this week we are going to talk about the healing powers of yoga. Has quarantine got you down? Are you feeling stressed, or are you one more annoying comment away from pushing your sibling down the stairs? Well, me too, and not to worry, because I have just the thing to help you start feeling normal again. The beginnings of yoga were founded in northern India around 5,000 years ago and are still all the rage today. Like my mom says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A recent Scientific American article entitled The Neuroscience of Meditation, How It Changes the Brain, Boosting Focus and Easing Stress, explains how changes in the amount of brain tissue in key areas of the brain are associated with focused attention, emotional calm, compassion, and overall stress reduction. These results are achieved by a variety of meditative approaches, including focused attention on the breath, repetition of mantra, and mindfulness. The short version of this is that hopefully it will get you out of your quarantine funk. I have been practicing yoga for 2 years now, and man, has it made a difference. Not only do I use yoga to cope with stress and anxiety, but also as a recovery tool. The day after a hard workout, I try to slip in a yoga sesh, and it does wonders for sore muscles. Now, I know what you're thinking. Elizabeth, I have never done yoga before, and quarantine won't allow me to do yoga at a yoga studio. Not to worry, because there are plenty of classes to choose from on YouTube, ranging from vinyasas to Bikram. What? These are just types of yoga practices to choose from. Just type in yoga for beginners and try a couple until you find out ones that suit your needs. I hope you try out some different yoga classes and hopefully regain some peace during this strenuous time. Namaste. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Elizabeth. It is great to see how people are making the most of this time in quarantine. Want to be featured in our Life in Quarantine segment? DM us on our Instagram account at HPUVision. Now, let's head over to our entertainment specialist, Morgan, to give us the inside scoop.
Thanks, Emily. Hey, everyone. It's Morgan Kaufman reporting this week on what's been happening in the entertainment industry. Most people know what a drive-in movie is, but have you heard of a drive-in concert? Keith Urban, DJ D-Nice, and now Blake Shelton follows in their footsteps as these artists are performing live in front of an audience, but with a twist. These concerts are allowing one car up to 6 passengers. Blake Shelton's tickets go live on July 14th, and his concert will debut on July 25th at over 300 locations across the country. Drive-in concerts have been popping up in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic since most summer shows are canceled. Not only do artists get to perform for their fans, but it is also a great idea to enjoy music with your friends and family while staying safe. Up next, TikTok has recently exploded with drama. Chase Hudson, known as Little Huddy, thought it would be a smart idea to accuse some of his friends of cheating and took it to Twitter to expose them. While doing so, he denied cheating on Charli D'Amelio and confessed to kissing Nessa after him and Charli had broken up. Charli did not waste any time and shut Chase right back down by subtweeting, "Stop deflecting your actions onto others because you can't take responsibility, Chase," and deleting all their social media pictures together. I guess you can say Twitter is dealing with a world of TikTok drama right now. Last but not least, I thought I would finish off with some celebrity baby news. The 33-year-old world-known 8-time Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt shares the first official photo of his newborn daughter on Instagram. In the caption, Bolt revealed that he and his girlfriend Cassie Bennett named their baby girl Olympia Lightning Bolt. He reveals that inspiration for her first name comes from the Greek goddess, and her middle name is from Bolt's earned nickname for his world record-breaking performances on the track. Congratulations to Usain and Cassie on their new baby girl. That's all I have for entertainment this week. Stay tuned for next week to see how the drama unfolds with everyone's favorite TikTokers, as well as all other entertainment news. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Morgan, for keeping us up to date with all of the celebrity gossip. Now let's head over to Grant and Emmy with the debate of the week. What is the hot topic this time?
Thank you, Emily, and welcome to this week's debate. Now, this week's debate promises to be the most highly contested in Quarantine Report history. I'm Grant Hines.
And I'm Emmy D'Amico. This week, rapper Kanye West announced that he would be running for president in the 2020 election cycle, for which he received praise and some backlash.
Yes, I mean, most of the backlash stemmed from the fact that he would be running as a third-party candidate, which in past elections has been seen as a way to take votes from one major candidate to favor the other. Yeah, so do you want to start as to why he should run for president?
Okay,
or as to why he should be president?
I'll volley it up. My first point here, he's not a politician. You know, everyone voted for Trump because he was outside the swamp.
That's fair.
He was making waves. And Kanye is even more removed from Trump at this point because Trump has been in the game for 4 years. So what do you say to that?
That's fair. Well, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a non-established politician. I'm all for a non-established politician. I think it brings a fresh face to the government, and it kind of strays further from that two-party system that we're so used to.
So you agree with me?
On that point, yes. Oh, also, he hasn't filed with the FEC as an official candidate, and in most states, the deadline to basically be on the ballot has passed. So
Well,
yeah,
that's the beauty of the write-in campaign.
right. The write-in, but
For
again,
the birthday
the
party.
write-in,
That's
it's
the name of his party. Did you know that, Grant?
what's that?
The name of his party is the birthday party.
Yes,
So
that's
it's everyone's birthday. But I want to say that Kanye epitomizes a grassroots movement based solely on write-ins. He really is democratic. He's going past all the bureaucracy, the steps of like officially signing up to run, and he's saving a lot of money, which all the money that he made in his life is mostly from growing on the money of being an artist. And so that's a non-traditional career path in America, and he's running with the American dream, having a grassroots campaign, and it's the epitome of democracy to have a write-in campaign. You don't need other people to tell you what to do, to print it on your ballot. You write it in yourself. America. The biggest reason I wanted to do pro-Kanye in this was that he has said from the beginning, even when he was supporting Trump, and everyone was like, that's an insane point to take as an artist who's part of a union and a minority. Like, there's all these things that should make you a Democrat. He's saying, my vote is still worth pandering to. Don't give up on me. Don't not campaign in California because all Democrats are gonna vote for the Democratic candidate and only Democrats live in California. That type of thing.
Some points that I have as to why he should not be president is that a lot of his policies reference God, and he says that God is backing him on a lot of his policies, which as a Christian I respect, but that violates church and state. So I think that he shouldn't be using. Personally, he can use that, but I think when you consider the government and politics and everyone in the country, he should not be using God as everything that he, I guess, stands for. Do you have any final points as to why he should be president?
Sure. He's against vaccines, just in general. And as we've learned through being on social media in a while, there's a lot of people that are against vaccines, that are scared about changes coming to this country. And, a lot of people who didn't like Trump and what he's done, and they backed him, and they didn't like him through the course of his presidency, were backing him at the beginning because he's such a strong businessman. Elon Musk is on Kanye's side. Kanye got the disease. So, compared to the other two candidates, Biden and Trump have not had it. They have no antibodies. So, just from a national security standpoint, he's also the youngest. So he's most hip and cool with the jive, knows the people's voice. Who's buying his music? Our generation. And he's less susceptible if antibodies aren't a thing. But really, the main point that I saw recently and really shook me to my core is that he's the only candidate that hasn't been accused of sexual assault.
That is true, yes.
But
that's about all the time we have for this week's debate. And on a side note, although the debates on the Quarantine Report are supposed to be fun and full of playful banter, we expect that voters will be responsible at the polls this November and take this election seriously, just like any other.
That's right, Grant. And you can register to vote, check your registration, and other voter resources at vote.org.
Please join us next week where we will be debating another hot quarantine topic. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Grant and Emmy, for keeping voters entertained and informed about this year's election. Let's see how sports is keeping up during the pandemic. For all the latest insights, here's Wendell.
Thanks, Emily, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wendell Eps, and I'll be giving you all this week's sports report. So last week, megastar quarterback Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs signed the largest contract extension in not just NFL history, but sports history. Yes, sports history. The terms of the deal are set for Mahomes to make $450 million over the next 10 years that will keep him in Kansas City through the 2031 NFL season. Most of us will be in our 30s by then. Whew. And get this, folks. The deal itself could also potentially be worth up to $503 million. It is certainly a lot of money, but money that a guy like Mahomes most certainly deserves. having just come off winning the Super Bowl for his Chiefs over the San Francisco 49ers, and already having an NFL League MVP award under his belt, all at just 24 years old. The guy's expected to live up to the ranks of some of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, like Tom Brady and Joe Montana. So let's hope that this contract can only help motivate Mahomes to keep pushing and have even more success as his career progresses in the NFL. In other news, the 22 NBA teams that will be taking part in the resumed 2019 to 2020 NBA season have all officially traveled to Orlando, Florida, aka the City Beautiful, and are in the final stages of getting ready for their 8-game regular season. We know teams like the Brooklyn Nets are going to be extremely short-handed as they'll be missing several key players, 7 to be exact, which includes All-Stars Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. In addition, it was also announced last week that the Washington Wizards will be without their leading scorer, Bradley Beal, due to a shoulder injury. Now, while it is unfortunate that these two teams will not have their key players, it still should be interesting to see who steps up for them come game time. And remember, folks, prior to the beginning of the 8-game regular season, each team will take part in 3 scrimmages against NBA teams that they will not face during that 8-game stretch in order to get some 5v5 reps in before the real deal. You can check out the full scrimmage schedule on NBA.com to see when your favorite teams will be playing. That's all I have for this week's Sports Report. Once again, my name's Wendell Eps, and I'll see you all very soon. Now, let's send it back to Emily. Peace.
Thanks, Wendell, for that sports update. With all this grief and trouble in the world today, we must look towards hope and positivity. It's time to head over to Liv for this edition of Moments of Hope.
Thank you, Emily. I'm Liv Rugg, and during these troubling times, it's nice to take a step back and appreciate some moments of hope. Around the world, scientists are coming together to create a vaccine for the coronavirus. As of early July, there are over 125 different vaccines being tested, and 4 vaccines are in phase 2. One vaccine, made in America, called Moderna, has begun phase 3. The vaccine uses messenger RNA to produce viral proteins, which has been doing very well in testing. Moderna is hoping to have vaccines doses by early 2021. In exciting and environmentally friendly news, EcoStraws has found a way to drink our beverages in a green and delicious way. These straws are inexpensive, creating minimal impact on the environment. Because they are made from resources only from nature, they are easily decomposable. These straws don't get soggy like paper and can be used more than once. The product comes in coconut, sugarcane, rice, and dried grass. Although the straws are not for eating, the rice straws can actually be cooked down and are edible. Pretty neat. The largest city in Australia is now officially powered by 100% green energy, thanks to the largest standalone renewables agreement for an Australian council to date. According to Euronews, although the historic deal costs over 60 million Australian dollars, the initiative is expected to save $500,000 a year. Clover Moore, Lord Mayor of Sydney, tweeted, 70% of world's emissions are generated from cities, so the actions city governments take is absolutely critical. What an exciting time to see such eco-friendly innovation. Thanks for some upbeat moments of hope. I'm Liv Rugg. Back to you, Emily.
It is always fantastic to hear about the positive moments in our world. Thank you for sharing those stories with us today. Well, that is all we have for you today. Tune in next week for more breaking news and stories. Here to keep you informed, entertained, and connected, this is Emily Nagel for the Quarantine Report. Have a great week.